I quit the California Department of Corrections 3 years ago after working for the department for 16 years, and pretty much because I saw corruption and all kinds of crazy stuff behind the walls.
What was the final straw that made you say, I have to quit? Like, I can't take this.
There was a lot. There was a lot, but I would say when they began to mix general population inmates with protective custody inmates, pretty much mixing enemies together so they can kill each other.
Why do you think they're doing that?
I think they are doing that to retaliate against the prison gang members for winning their lawsuit to get out of the SHU, the security housing unit. You know, all the gang leaders of every organization, they did a hunger strike in like 2012, so they got out in 2014, 2015. I think this is the way to get back at them.
Was it a lot more violence that you saw?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like, prison kind of is always and will always be violent. But before that, it was kind of a method to the madness. It was kind of normal violence that comes with prison. When this began, what it did, it created violence on a whole nother level. Even to the points where inmates were now beginning to attempt to murder correctional officers so they can preserve their own life, self-preservation.
But why would they need to kill a CO for that?
Because if we as COs are going to escort an inmate to a yard full of his enemies where he's going to get killed, it's much easier for him to just hit a cop, stab him in the neck, and get it over with. And then we're going to take him to the hole.
And then after the whole, he just gets moved somewhere else where his
Yeah,
enemies aren't. Oh, because if they get there and they don't want to fight, then they look like pussies, and then the gang disowns them. So they kind of have to take it out on you in a way so that that doesn't happen.
correct. I started in 2006, almost 20 years ago, at the age of 22. So my mindset was different. I had just gotten out of the military. I had just gotten back from a deployment to Iraq. So basically, at the time, I was more looking to like be in law enforcement and kind of just earn a pension.
Yeah.
It wasn't until years later where I developed as a man, where I got to see everything for what it was.
So when you first went to work there, what was your thoughts? Like, okay, it's a good paying job. Did you know how violent it was going to get, or were you not prepared for that?
When I it was a back then it was a us versus them mentality. The inmates versus the CO mentality. There was definitely a hard line in the sand. At that time, lifers were not going home. If you had life in prison, at the time the law was you were never going to parole. That would eventually change, but during the period of time we're talking about, it was extremely violent. A lot of race riots. You could have 200-man riots, 300-man riots, murders, attempted murders. So basically, my job was to like quell the violence, which I found to be fun at that young age. It was right up my alley.
Yeah. How long were you doing the job before you got stabbed for the first time?
No, I never been stabbed.
Oh shit. Okay.
Never. Hell nah. I'm quick with it. like no. I mean anybody can get stabbed, right? But I made it a point to not get stabbed. Like always looking around, always keeping dudes at an arm's distance.
Yeah. And if you're nice, I mean, people don't go out of their way to do that, really.
It don't matter if you're nice or mean. If you're gonna get stabbed, you're gonna get stabbed.
I heard you can't be too nice because I've heard from a CO that he tried to be nice, and then the inmates basically got on him to like start bringing drugs in for us, or we're gonna do something to you. So he had to basically them versus me type of thing.
So you're correct. Basically, if you're just respectful, firm, and fair and consistent, you'll be fine. You'll be all right. It's when people start going too far either way where problems start happening.
In his mind, he's like, I'm never going home. Fuck it, neither are you.
That happens sometimes. Yeah, for sure, 100%.
As a man, have you ever wondered, like, when you see a female CO, like, why are you doing this job?
Um, I've had good experiences with female partners. I've had bad experiences with female partners, but in the same sense, I've had good experiences with male partners and bad experiences with male partners. I try not to make it about gender, but I can clearly see how problems can arise, right? I can see, I mean, I've known more than five female COs that have hooked up with inmates in
They all got
relationships.
caught or no?
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn, was there ever one that didn't get caught and you're like, damn, how did she do that?
Currently there's one to have been currently there's a rumor. I mean, there's a rumor about the Menendez brothers. There's one still out there doing her thing.
See, I don't understand that whole thing, like them trying to go home. I'm sorry, but if you could kill your own parents, what the fuck are you gonna do to me? Like, I don't trust people like that. So,
you don't
you know what I mean?
you
Like,
don't trust people that kill their parents? Me neither.
I'm saying like they do not need to be released. I don't wish jail on nobody, but people that kill their own parents, like,
I
god
get
damn,
it.
like I definitely don't want y'all in this society. Like, so Kim Kardashian needs to like go find someone else. I know a lifer that needs to come home, not them.
Facts. I know lifers that would deserve to come home as well, and that's what I'm vocal about because I was at the prison where the both Menendez brothers were. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to ride their coattails, but like that was relevant information to what we're discussing.
What was that like being around them?
I avoided them because
Yeah.
I can feel their manipulation tactics.
I heard
Um,
that in your Vlad TV interview.
I'm very good at reading people. Through 20 years of experience, I'm very good at reading people. I can tell when somebody's bullshitting and when somebody's not. So that helps working in a prison.
You think you learned that working in a prison, you think that helped you with that? Like,
Absolutely, yeah. And it's kind of weird because now I'm a civilian, meaning I don't have any ties to the job. And I do talk to previously incarcerated people, former prisoners, former inmates, and I do get that right and that opportunity now to be able to speak to them on a neutral playing field, and it's reciprocated, right? Because at one point in time they couldn't talk to the police,
yeah.
but now that we're no longer a part of that game, like I just want to make it clear that it is a certain environment where you kind of do have to separate yourself.
Yeah. What is some of the corruption that you've seen?
Oh man, for the mixing of the inmates, the enemies, after we told them don't do that, don't do that. And a lot of people, you got to understand that we had no idea what was happening. They didn't tell us what they were going to do. They just told us to do it. We started doing it. We brought all the problems up to their attention and they didn't care. They didn't care at all. Like they don't care about human lives at all.
So, yeah, because it's all a business to them. It's like it's the biggest business there is. That's why they're putting so much money into these prisons.
I'm starting to see that more now, because the longer I stay away from that place, the bigger perspective I get. And, there's a lot of like self help groups or prison groups that want to help, but a lot of them are all about the money, right?
Yeah.
They're not so much about the actual rehabilitation of each individual.
Because if they really wanted to rehabilitate people, they would get everybody therapy.
Facts.
And that's one thing you can't even get like that in prison. You have to ask like to see mental health. And the mental health could be too busy to see you because there's a million other people that want to see mental health.
I would say it's like the application of the way things are being applied because there is mental health in prison and there's a lot of it. But I believe, some inmates fake so that they can talk to the mental health. Some mental health professionals will add on certain like things just to keep the system going.
Yeah. Because all they're using mental health to get out of that yard so they don't get beat
Facts.
up. So they go to the EOP yard
Yep.
because they don't want to go to a SNY yard because then
Yep.
people are really not going to fuck with them no more. This way they're going to say, oh, but I'm on medication. You could be on medication and be on the main line.
Those are the wildest yards too. Those EOP yards are wild. And my first
Why?
because I
But
did.
everyone's on medication. You would think they'd be calm.
Not only are they on medication, but they're on bath salts, meth, freaking spice, fentanyl, heroin is just out of control.
Yeah, I seen yesterday somebody in prison sent me a video of somebody on off spice being taken away by like it was like 20 officers basically, and he was like bugging out.
That is not fun. That is not
No.
fun, because they get naked, they throw up, they make a mess, they run around screaming, delusional, and you actually have to tackle them and stop them because they can hurt somebody or themselves.
Yeah, and then I heard you could get like a shit bomb thrown at you if you try to help them. So it's
It
like,
all of that, even like overdoses, because inmates overdose daily, all day, every day
yeah,
they overdose. And there's times where officers, correctional officers, will do CPR and mouth to mouth, because we have a shield, a barrier. It's like a plastic. But I know of at least 3 occasions where the inmate vomited in the officer's mouth.
Wow. And
Yeah.
they have to do this because I'd be like, yeah, am I getting like a bonus for this? Like, why am I the one doing this?
Well, I would tell the officer, like, hey, man, did you really have to put your mouth near there? Like, you just do the chest compressions.
Yeah, I don't know if I. Oh, but with the women, it's like with a man, I feel like a man really does want to help or feels like he could handle it. With women, I for some reason always feel like if a woman gets that job, it's for bad reasons. It's never because even speaking to people every day in prison, I almost feel like I'm there, you know? So it's like as a CO, you might almost feel like you're in there with
You
them.
do.
Yeah, like it starts to feel after a while, did you almost feel like, damn, like this is just too hard just being here. It's like depressive.
It was, I mean, realistically, a correctional officer, when they go in, those gates are shutting behind them too. You know, they cannot open the gate unless they yell at the tower. You cannot bring your own personal cell phone inside of the prison. It's considered contraband. So you can't call home. You can't check on your family. Like if an emergency happens, they got to contact you through the prison. So I do understand that we do get to go home at the end of the day, but it still sucks to be in there. And I will tell you this, working for the prison system was a way more toxic experience and toxic environment than my 1 year deployment to Iraq. That's a fact.
Wow.
That's a fact. It was toxic in the prison system.
Can you talk about what was like the worst things you've seen?
Have you ever seen Game of Thrones, the HBO
Yeah.
series? It's like that, like your own people trying to gun for you, like your own people sabotaging you, like gossiping, rumors, like lying, freaking ratting on you. It's just crazy.
And prison is so small that I know for a fact how gossipy it is. Like,
Well, California, there's like 30 prisons, and
but
all
they
you
all
have to
talk to each other and they all, if something, there's gossip, everybody knows in every prison.
facts, and it's
Yeah.
easy to run background checks on people, and we do it all the time. Like we do it all the time. You know, like that's something that the inmates do, but staff members also do the same thing, and I've let the public know about that.
So if you're dealing with someone, do y'all like check to see what they're in there for? Because I wouldn't want to know if like I'm talking to a rapist.
Look, in 2012, everything went to a computer monitor. So it was much faster to just type in the inmate's number and be able to see their commitment offense. And it will tell you their commitment offense. It'll tell you, you know, rape, murder, burglary, um, car theft, carjacking, arson.
Yeah. And then for some reason, every time I interview somebody in prison and I ask them if there's a lot of geisha going on, they always say there isn't. But then I'll speak to people that have been in prison that make those type of content, like, this is what prison was really like. And they'll tell you there's a lot of that in prison. People just don't want to talk about it.
On the SNY yards. On the SNY yards.
It's rape or is it consensual, you think?
Okay, well, it's it's consensual, but there's no such thing as consensual sex in prison. That's in the policy. But
Yeah.
you're right, it's consensual. Yeah, it's normal. It's normal on an SNY. Couples, relationships, falling in love, getting their heart broken. I've seen it all. Domestic violence, I've seen it all.
Yeah. I feel like there's more domestic violence even with two women versus a woman and a man.
I'm talking about two men. One. Yeah, I'm talking about two men. Yeah,
Yeah.
in brokenhearted, in love.
Have you ever seen it where a man has a wife, but then he has a boyfriend in prison? Wow, that's like my fears. Like I have a husband, I'm loyal to him, and he's not loyal to me. It's like, damn.
We've seen it. We've seen it in the prison that I was at. An inmate will have a girlfriend in the same yard, right? Always making out with the dude, and then we'll go to the visiting and make out with his wife. Wife has no idea that the dude has a boyfriend.
Damn, that's crazy. But are there guards? No, I don't think so. Like, has a guard ever tried to tell a wife, like, yo, or that's like, you're not supposed to do that?
I wouldn't say it's like forbidden. It all depends on which officer you get, right? If you got a crazy dude or a wild dude or a funny dude, he can probably be like, "Hey, you should ask your man who so and so is," right? But for the most part, I don't really seen that. They kind of just let him be.
Yeah. I used to think like maybe if I'm nice to the COs when I go to visit my ex, maybe they'll tell me if he has another bitch coming to see him. But no, they're not gonna tell you because
They're
they're the
not going
ones
to tell
coming to
you.
see him. She wants it
Yeah,
more than I do, probably.
that happens too, where they'll get numerous. I mean, I ain't trying to give up game or ruin nobody's game on the freaking internet, but that happens where they'll have multiple visitors.
No, for sure. And the way I found out is because when I came for a visit in New York, if they
Yeah.
already have somebody visiting them and you come later, they don't let you in. They'll tell you he already has a visitor. If you come at the same time, they'll put both of you at the same table. Yeah.
Wow.
I heard in California, even if you come after me and I'm already visiting my man and you're also his girl, they'll still put you at the table. In New York, they're not doing that. You got to show up at the same time if you want to be at the table.
Yeah, I've heard of disputes. I've heard of girls getting at it in the parking lot, getting at each other because they went to go visit the same man without knowing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like to me it's like fighting over a man and it's like you got to just expect that your man in prison has another girl because they're waiting for you to like leave at any second. They're going to have a backup plan. They're not going to just be all alone cuz you left.
It's not all like that though. I mean, to be realistic, 100%, there's some dudes that are extremely loyal to their wives and girlfriends, like 100%, right? So
Yeah.
it's just your couple that, playing the game.
Yeah. How was
Yeah,
it
it's
for
not
you having a
everybody.
relationship like while you were there? Is it hard?
Me having a relationship,
Yeah, like to maintain a relationship while working at a prison, is it difficult?
the crazy thing is that my marriage actually lasted the whole entirety of my career, 16 years, and then my marriage fell apart at 1 year after I quit the department.
Why do
So
you
I
think
was
that was?
I think it was because I don't want to say she's a gold digger, right? I don't want to say that, but like maybe she realized like fuck this dude doesn't have a job no more. He's like a bum, like maybe that's what it was, and more time at home instead of me going to the work and coming home. That could have affected there was a lot of factors that affected the marriage. It had already been having its issues in the years coming, but it finally
Yeah.
fell apart.
But what did you want to do? Like when you quit, in your mind, what did you think? Like, okay, I'm gonna do this instead. Did you have like a plan, or were you on some like, fuck this, I'm quitting, I'll figure it out later?
Initially, I wanted to be a firearms instructor and teach people how to shoot firearms. But then I realized I'm in California, and California doesn't have gun friendly laws here. So I kind of had to shift, and I kind of just put all my eggs in one basket in YouTube. And then I wrote a book. So like I'm just hustling and grinding, to maintain.
Yeah.
But I'm having
No, and
fun with it though.
I think it was the whole like you being home more because if I'm used to my man, let's say he's a truck driver, he's always on the road. That's what I get used to just being on the phone with him, and then I have my own things I do. But if he's here all the time, I'm not gonna lie. Like me and my ex fiance, we broke up because we were just around each other too much. If he had other shit he was doing instead of trying to help me with what I do,
Yeah.
we maybe would have still been together. But
No, that's definitely a thing. I mean, if you're used to leaving the pad and going to work, having your separate schedules, that's a thing. That's helpful. But I believe that's healthy for a relationship. But you're right. When you're spending too much time together, there's no give. There's no leeway.
yeah,
There's no breathing room.
I mean, nothing ever lasts forever. So I think.
Oh, I mean, and then COVID in 2020, that was a fiasco in the prison system. But a lot of relationships suffered as a result of people being home together.
Yeah, everybody was either getting pregnant or breaking up.
Or domestic violence. Yeah.
Yeah, thank God I did neither. I was just focused and I was working. I had a relationship. Okay, fine. I did a little domestic violence. I
You
did
did?
a little bit. Yeah, but because I wasn't seeing no one else, it's like it's you know what I mean.
Correct.
I did a little
No,
hitting,
I,
but
I get it.
he deserved it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you were you only in male prisons or
Yeah, 100% only in male prisons. I never wanted to work around females, and I definitely never wanted to work around juveniles.
why? Because then it's you're kind of like how women work at a male prison. Then it looks a little like why is he choosing to work there?
No, because I know that women are emotional. I know that they're emotional. I know that
Yeah,
sometimes they don't, process things like men do. So that's
we're
one
way
reason.
more manipulative than men.
That too. I don't feel like I could have been manipulated, right? Because I would have went in there with a professional. mindset, but I
Yeah.
never even wanted to put myself in that position, right? I wouldn't want to be having to deter manipulation on a daily basis. That would have been exhausting.
Yeah, I think like if I could work in a female prison, I wouldn't be able to work in a male prison for sure. At least I'm honest with myself.
Yeah.
But what are like in your book, what do you mainly speak on?
In my book, I give tips to the new correctional officers that are coming in, more of like a old school tips and tricks, as opposed to how like everything has changed out in society. You know, it's a softer society. Uh, how to use your communication skills appropriately, how to de-escalate situations, how to use force when necessary, learning the policy, and then like of course I did show the corruption. I put documentation of the corruption.
Did you when you were writing the book, were you a little like nervous that what if they come after me?
No, because when I quit, I was willing to go all the way and put everything on the line. And it's funny you should say that because they have literally been coming after me for the last 3 years. They have filed search warrants into my phone records, into my email accounts, into my Google, YouTube accounts. They're just trying to shut me down and shut me up.
Have Are they threatening you with like going to prison or just
No,
lawsuits?
they have not threatened me with lawsuits because if you think about it, everything I have been saying is 100% factual and documented. So
Yeah.
it's not slander or defamation of character because it's the truth.
Yeah. Was when you originally were working there though, is there any type of contract you signed that you can't disclose certain things? No, right?
No, but like I'm pretty sure they do that now after I came out swinging.
For sure. There's no way they don't because they know
Correct.
nowadays everyone's trying to write a book, including the people in prison. So
Well, that's not why I did it. I really felt at the time in 2022 that somebody or something had to happen to let the public know exactly what was happening in there because it was beyond dangerous.
yeah. I speak to people sometimes and I'm like, is there ever a chance that people just put this gang shit to the side and just all get along? And it's like, no, that's not happening.
Never. No, it can't work
No.
that way.
It's so deep, and I you would think in prison it's like it's the races are against each other, but it's if it's black people coming at each other too, that's even worse because Mexicans and they don't mix like that. They don't, you know what I mean? They don't get into it with Mexicans. It's more they get into it with each other. But what do you think? Something be done to fix things or?
So actually, when it comes to race riots in 2014, 2015, the prison gang leaders in the shoe, they actually did an end of all hostility peace treaty in an exchange to kind of get out. That was kind of the terms. And they basically said, "Hey, we will end all race riots." And to give them credit, they stuck to their deal. They have not. Those race riots are nothing compared to what they used to be like in the past. They're pretty much non-existent.
Were you ever in a riot?
One, oh yeah,
How
I've been
many?
in. I've probably been in three or four major race riots, and I think every single time was the black inmates against the Mexican inmates.
How does it
But
even start? Is it just like they get into a fight and just how
there's
do you know when a
numerous.
riot's about to happen, basically?
Well, there's numerous ways it can start. One can be spontaneous, meaning like everybody can just be doing their thing, and then something happens where let's say they bump each other's shoulder, or if somebody calls another dude a bad name, it's gonna crack, right? Because here in California, if one member of a race gets involved in an altercation, everybody's jumping in. Everybody's jumping in. That even goes for the cops, though. The COs, like if one Mexican gets involved with the cops, then all the Mexicans are going to jump the cops, which sucks
Damn.
because you're outnumbered like fucking 200 to 1.
So, and then when they attack them, it's like, are they stabbing or just like punching on you?
Probably, to be realistic, if it's a level 4 yard, it's going to be 100% stabbings, right? If it's
Yeah,
a level 3 yard, there's going to be stabbings. There's going to be stabbings for sure. They're not shy to stab people at all. Because
yeah.
even level 2s and level 1s, they still get busy.